If your garage door won't go up in the air as soon as you hit the button and it looks like it's struggling, that is a hard stop.
Welcome back to the Garage Authority podcast powered by A1. Today I got Jon Phillips returning, and we're going to be talking about warning signs your garage door needs attention and focus, a deeper dive into early maintenance indicators and what to check. The purpose is to teach the listeners how to catch early issues before they become expensive. Yeah, Jon, I know you got 10 years experience, and 5 years ago you heard about A1 Garage Door Service. Talk to me a little bit about what prompted you to want to come to this company, and how's it been so far for the last 5 years?
Well, I've done commercial, I've done residential, I have a lot of friends in the garage door industry, and I'm not gonna lie. Like when I started training, maybe you would go hang out with a guy for like 2 weeks, and then that's it. And then you're Googling and trying to figure out and messing up and doing it again. And I was never a naturally gifted person mechanically. That's just wasn't my thing. So it was a lot of hard years, like trying to figure this out, but it's all I had. So whenever I heard about A1, and then I heard that they have a school where they teach you like all the little mistakes that I made. And it's not only little mistakes that I made, it's mistakes that I made that really affected people. It affected homeowners. You know what I mean? I misdiagnosed. I kept them out of their house too long, or I had to go back multiple times, and like it just wasn't good. I wouldn't say it was necessarily my fault because you didn't get trained, but I was like, oh, they have a place with people in a company that, combined, they all have like over 1,000 years of experience, and they have a school. So immediately, whenever I knew that garage doors are my thing, this is my trade, I'm going to go to where I know I'm going to get the best training. And honestly, like I'm seeing some students come out of this academy that are further along as far as knowledge than I was at 5 years. You know what I mean? And they've only been doing this for, months.
That's a remarkable thing. One of the things about you that I love is your military background. Can you talk to us a little bit about the military background, and is this the right job for somebody with a military background?
I think the biggest, hardest part about getting out of the military, like I knew I wasn't going to be a lifer, but once you get out of the military, like you still kind of carry that with you. Like there's a camaraderie, there's a brotherhood, there's a structure, and all those things where I'm like, I don't want to be told what to do anymore. I don't want to. But as soon as I got out and I was free, then all
civilian life.
Yeah, I was lost. I was immediately lost, and garage doors was the only thing I had. And whenever I first came to A1, and me and my wife visited Phoenix from Kansas City, and I came into the shop and I saw Brian Davenport and I saw you, and like I literally just got off a plane and like walked in, and then to just walk up to you and you're just like, hey, welcome to Phoenix. And then everybody took me on a tour of the break room, and I was like, all right, like I get the show. But then I hung out longer, and it's not a show. It's like that every day. And I found my brotherhood, and I found people that I can call when I needed help. And there's actually, I think leadership here cares more about me succeeding than I do somehow. Like they're always pushing me to be better, even as I'm senior instructor now. Like doesn't matter. Like that still keeps going, still like mission at hand, keeping the fight for like a layman's terms. And I absolutely love it.
Well, the thing I love about you and most of the people that work at this company is you make eye contact. You care more about the clients than you care. Look, you care about this company, but you want to leave them in a better spot than you found them. You want to make sure you explain things thoroughly. You're safe in their home. You want to make them a raving fan. And if we continue to do that with this company, the company just begins to grow because we find people that care. And you're humble, you're hungry, you're smart, you take care of people, and it shows. So we appreciate you very much being part of this amazing company. But it wouldn't be amazing without amazing people like you. You've been in this business over 10 years, and you're part of the training program. And one of the things we do here is we train, we train, we train. We don't practice on our clients' homes. And it's very important we do it the right way, not the easy way. Can you talk a little bit about the training that each and every maintenance technician and installer goes through before they go out into the field?
Right. So we take them from all over the country and we bring them out here to Phoenix, Arizona, and, state-of-the-art academy. But I think the biggest thing that we focus on training is like, because I'm over 2,000 students deep now. Like we've trained a lot of students. And what's cool about it is when they all come here, they all come from different areas with different garage doors and different people and experiences. And we find out just like what holds true for everybody. And honestly, if someone's going to come out to Phoenix and spend a month away from their family to get trained by me, I'm going to need to make it worth it. And with that, I think the biggest part is that techs know how little things on a garage door domino into catastrophic things.
I think one of the most important things from my perspective is how we treat people. We show up with respect. We respect their home. We respect their family. We smile. We care. We really spend time. In fact, we only hire 1 out of 100 people that apply here. We're looking for the people that are going to treat people the right way with respect, that are going to be humble, that are going to listen to their needs before we give any type of solutions. And my goal is always let the client tell us what they want and ask really deep questions, and then they make the choice. So obviously we want to look for warning signs. The worst thing is I was at a friend's house, and he's got a 2-story house, and we heard a shotgun. Can you imagine what it could be? First time I've ever heard it, and I've been in the industry for 2 decades.
Broken spring.
Broken spring. So if you hear a shotgun noise and you don't know where it came from, it's most likely a broken torsion spring or an extension spring. But let's talk a little bit about what type of things am I going to notice when the garage door might be having issues?
So the first, especially with like new modern garage doors with operators on them that have a lot of sensors, like if your garage door won't go up in the air as soon as you hit the button and it looks like it's struggling, that is a hard stop, like immediately. That could be a broken spring. That could be something locked in the track, bearing issues. There's a whole lot that could be. And sometimes what we run into a lot with certain clients is like they just keep pressing the button and the door didn't want to go up. Now it's going up and then it goes crooked and sideways and now it's on the floor or on a car. So anytime that you like press the button or your door's struggling at all to go up, you need to call someone immediately.
Yeah, I've been in that situation. And sometimes you look at the garage door and it just feels like it's struggling. It could be the opener. It could be making a lot of noise. What are some other indicators that we really should call a professional out?
Right. So anytime that a garage door is opening or closing, right? So first scenario, wouldn't open at all. We're going to hard stop. Second one is like you want to notice if your garage door is like jumping at the beginning of travel, whether it's up or down. So if it starts to go and your garage door goes pop, 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 and then mellows out, and then when it closes, it goes back and pop, 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 pop. That could be a spring issue. That could be an operator issue. Now, on the operator, you always want to check up. It's going to have a belt or a chain on it. If that thing is sagging and scraping the front of your door, we might have like a very bad malfunction in the operator where the gear and sprocket itself has started to go. And whenever that takes off, if your door's heavy and it just slams to the ground, like it might ruin your door.
Seen that happen a lot of times. In the Chamberlain manual and the Genie manual, they say to prevent injury or death. And I know that's a little bit over the top, but they've been sued a million times. They need to protect themselves. What is it? What is the process to make sure that the garage door is balanced?
Right. So first step that you want to do, and I would say you probably want to do this once a month, honestly, straight from LiftMaster. And what you want to do is you want the door down. Now, if you have an overhead operator, what's going to be up there is that you're going to see a little red pull cord, right? You want the door to be down whenever you pull this, not up in the air.
Yes, very important.
And then you want to pull that cord, and now once you see it disengage, you want to lift it up by hand. Now, what's going to happen is that door's in sections, right, panels. And once that breaks through that curved part of the track before it goes overhead, the radius, you want to lift it up and see if the door stays where you left it. And then you want to check that next panel and that next panel. This is the way to do a 3-point balance test. Now, if this door's flying up in the air, call someone immediately. We got the wrong springs on. If it's slamming down to the ground, call someone immediately because springs lose tension. So as that door gets heavy, if it's starting to lose tension, that means that we're calling card that we're about to break. So let's get ahead of it before we ruin the door.
Yeah, that's a major test you need to do. There's all types of openers out there. There's chain drive, belt drive, there's jack shaft, there's screw drive. It just depends on what you have. There's extension springs, there's torque master springs. There's a lot of different garage doors. I think the main thing is when you start hearing a very noisy, it just sounds like it's rattly. Sometimes one of the most common things is rollers pop out. Those metal rollers we know, they start going like this and they break off the stem. What happens when a roller pops out or breaks?
Not a big deal when the door's down. When the
I've
door
never
goes
heard of a
up,
roller break when the garage door's down.
it always happens when it's moving. And you got to realize that whole track system that the door's moving on, like some people are like, oh, the rollers roll, that's fine. Like, no, that's the only thing holding it in the track when it's up in the air, when it's above your head, above the car. So as far as like roller maintenance, like if you're hearing like clicking, clacking all the way through, that means those bearings are shot. And now, especially with those metal rollers, there's no give to it. So anytime I take those off and they're done, sometimes those things just fall apart in my hand immediately. And it's like, you didn't serve the door in 20 years. This has been going over your head for Lord knows how long. Like, thank goodness.
You're lucky nobody got hurt.
Yeah.
One of the things we do here today, one, can you talk about the scale and what we do before we start the work and what we do after we finish the work?
Yeah. So whenever we go out to a client's house, like whatever they called us out for, that's what we're going to start with, right? It's like whenever you say this, like if you went to a mechanic shop to get your oil changed and they said, no, don't worry about the oil. We need to do transmission this before even doing what I asked you. It's off-putting. So we want to address your immediate concerns. You're the person in the home that lives with it. You know the new sounds. Like, tell us what brought us out today. And we're going to start with that. But we're not just going to do a one fix. Like, we're experts. So we're going to look at the entire door, and we're going to give you a full comprehensive inspection. How your door is, what we can address today, can you expect in the future based off of this inspection. And then not only that, we do a beginning one and we do a finishing one. So not only are we going to show you the status of your door when we arrive there, we're going to show you the status of the door after we leave and everything that we've done.
I think we're one of the only companies that weigh every single door, take a picture, and it's within our system.
Yes.
We weigh it on the ground. We take out a real scale. And that way we know exactly what we're talking about. There's no bait and switch type tactics. It's literally we're bringing the facts. We're showing you everything we do. We take a lot of pictures. We make sure we document our work. We make sure we document the warranty. We make sure you're in the database. If you ever call up, we know the warranty. Those are what separate us. Is there anything other than checking the weight of the door and the balance check that we should be thinking about as far as maintenance-wise?
Maintenance-wise, lubrication. All day, every day. And not only when you get that. So WD-40 is not going to work, all right? That is a displacement. So don't do that. It makes it way worse. It's gonna make it quieter for about the first 3 days, and then it's gonna make it so much worse as it attracts dust, particles, messing up everything. But just go and find anything that says garage door or silicone based, and you'll be fine. But you need to be hitting that thing up. Honestly, I do maintenance on my door like bi-yearly. But I mean, if that's out of your scope and you don't want to worry about it, just find a company like ours that has a maintenance plan, and we just come out and take care of it for you.
I've seen engineers where they load the tracks up with petroleum jelly. I've seen all kinds of stuff. I've seen where you add your own insulation, but the springs aren't balanced anymore, and you're literally ruining every part on the door. The DIY, the guy that is a handyman, the neighbor, they seem in this industry to really get themselves in a pickle. It's dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. You know, there's times where I walked out to a homeowner and I got out there at the right time because I seen a braided or a frayed cable. Can you tell me about what that means?
Yeah, so that torsion system, however that spring is applying tension to the door, it goes through the cable. It's right on either side of your door, and it goes all the way down and hooks onto a bottom bracket. So whenever a cable's starting to fray, technically, that's the only thing that's actually lifting the door. That cable is the lifting point, right? That and the bracket itself. So, I mean, I could have the strongest, best spring in the world, but if that cable is in bad condition, if I can't apply that torsion spring to the door, it's going to fall. And it doesn't really happen in like a smooth drop motion and goes down into place. It's usually this one snaps. we have 200 plus pounds up in the air, goes sideways. It's a very nasty situation. And honestly, even when it starts to fray, even if it's discolored, you see it, the candy caning up it, that's oxidation. It's like a cancer for the metal. So now it's eating away at the core of that from the inside. So sometimes you won't get a fray. If you see that there's a spiral going up it, we need to get ahead of that right now.
It'll pull through. Last question. You know, I know a lot of inspectors that have inspected houses that I bought or friends' houses or relatives, and they tend to check out the force where they'll put their arm out and they'll see if it keeps going or if it comes back up. What's the purpose of that?
So the forces is what the door's willing to push or pull through, right? The operator, the brain of it that tells it to move up and down. Now, forces are built into the operator that tells it like, hey, I can close this hard or I can open up this hard. Now, what they're doing when they hold their arm out as the door's closing, they're checking the forces because we want the door to close and be sealed, but we don't want it to like crush people or do anything. So those forces are in the settings of it. So when they're holding their arm out, we just want to make sure that the door's not going to like crush the back of a car or anything.
Right. Or God forbid a person.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I do know. If your garage door jerks or squills, it may be a symptom or a sign that something's not right and you may want to call a pro.